My name is Matthew Green. I am a STEM counselor and academic advisor here at Bergen Community College. I got with me Ian Wolf. He's going to be helping out as firing some questions away with me as we try now to just figure this out in this time that we have going on here. We're trying to figure out new things. So we're going to be doing some live chatting, but also we wanted to get a chance here to Ian's going to fire away some questions to me so we can give you a feel of what this is going to look like moving forward, and hopefully maybe we can answer some general questions in this test run that we have going right now. So Ian, whenever you're ready, if you want to go ahead, and Ian's going to share a screen right now here that has some basic information. And did you want to talk about this one?
For sure. So thank you, Matt. So first, all students should be receiving now Bergen Weeklies instead of Bergen Dailies. One of the things that will go out weekly during COVID-19 is resources for students about how they can get connected with certain staff members while we're working remotely. So this is a nice flyer that the Center for Student Success has created, and it goes over who you should reach out to for academic advising, academic counseling, career counseling, how to reach out to personal counselors, transfer counseling, and then additional counseling services such as EOF veterans, international students, and the Office of Specialized Services. It talks about who the staff that's in charge of these areas are, and information about instant decision days, college fairs, and career and job fairs. So students, we're not going to go over this completely, but students can refer to their email for more information about who to contact should they have any specific questions.
Absolutely. I think, sorry, go ahead, Ian.
No, I was going to roll on to questions, but if you've got more about this, please feel free.
I think the main thing and the main idea of all of this is the communication. Don't just like fire off one email into something and you don't even know where it goes. Like, keep trying. Like, we're out here. We want to reach you. The staff, the counseling staff, the entire staff of Bergen, professors, all the way up. We want to be able to reach students. So if one email doesn't work, try another one. Keep calling the numbers that are on there. Get in touch with us. We want to make sure that you're able to reach us, one way or another. And we're all trying to figure this out. So just keep trying to find someone, and we will get to you.
Yeah, we're working. We're here to serve students. And I'm going to stop screen sharing now so that we can roll into some questions.
Sounds good.
But really, what I'm going to try to simulate is I'm going to imagine me being a student, and Matt is my academic counselor. And he's going to answer some questions that I might have. And again, please bear in mind, everyone, that this is a fluid situation. So some of these answers that we have here on March 31st of 2020 might change as we advance into the future.
Absolutely.
So I guess the first question I would have for you, Matt, is when does registration for the summer and fall semester begin?
So pretty easy one right there. Summer and fall registration right now is happening as it would have if we were there live. So April 1st, which is tomorrow, as when we record this, as of midnight tonight, going into tomorrow, you'll be able to register online through your student portal. The big question, that again, the follow-up question usually that comes with this and what students I've had is, well, what about the summer classes specifically? What are they going to be live? Are they going to be online? So as it is right now, whatever you're seeing on there, that's what it's going to be. Now, Ian makes a great point. By the time we finish this recording, things could change. So if the best advice I can give right now is register for the class that you want to take right now. If it ends up being, if it's a live class and it fills up and we end up having live classes, you don't want to miss out on that. And if it ends up that we don't have live classes, then what I understand is from speaking with deans that there are going to be those classes, just going to be more additional classes added to the online factor, and then you can decide what's best for you if you want to take a class online or not.
Sweet. So to follow up with that, Matt, in the past I had registered sometimes online and sometimes in person when campus was open. With the move to a remote instruction for the rest of the spring semester, and obviously COVID-19, what recommendations do you have, or is it only online registration at this point?
Well, you can also, if you needed, online is going to be your easiest way to do that. And what we can also do is work with you either over the phone or through one of these web conferences or even over email. And we do have plenty of handouts on how to do the online registration. So that's going to be your easiest way to do that. But there are other ways that you can do that. If you email registration@bergen.edu, they, with what you need some help with, they can also, again, call you on the phone and go from there. But obviously, the campus isn't open, so you can't go up to the window right now and and register like normal. But there are plenty of different ways. Again, registration at bergen.edu, and again, we'll make sure we'll attach some links and emails down the line. But again, goes back to the original point. Just keep communicating and we'll be able to help you out. And of course, meeting with an academic advisor, we can work with you on helping to plan the classes as well as, assist with registration and point you in the right direction.
So that actually segues pretty well into my next question, which is my academic advisor. So I was someone who usually would register online and didn't really have much interactions with my academic advisor. Am I assigned an academic advisor, or is there any method to the madness for who I should be contacting?
No, great. That's a great question. We are all your academic advisor at this point. So, and again, if you email aacenter@bergen.edu, that's a kind of general email that will be able to. And then, the folks that are working there are doing great with trying to get those specific requests over and into the hands of a counselor. So, for example, I am a STEM counselor. If someone emailed there, they're trying to get any students who fall under those STEM classes over to me versus someone who might be working, let's say, with the within the health professions. So Lauren Fowler is one who specializes in that. So getting those over to her. So really, but we can all help you. And then, like, if I don't have a specific answer for your program, we can always, I'm constantly communicating with the other counselors to make sure we're able to get that. So the idea is to try to help keep this as fluid as possible. And again, all those same services that we provided live, we're providing online.
Sweet. So let's talk about that online for a second. If I'm going to have a meeting with my academic counselor or academic advisor, how's it going to take place?
That's going to be up to the student and what they're most comfortable with. So, for example, I've worked with other counselors right now who have had students doing meetings just like this, like we're conducting this meeting right here on WebEx. All students, and again, I don't know if all students know that, have access to this feature and can work with us. I say WebEx to students sometimes, they like, what the heck is that? So it's, again, as we get moving along, hopefully these will become more common terms that students will understand. But we can do so, a video conference. We can do that over the phone, if necessary. Whatever's most comfortable. For example, most of the students I've worked with so far have just felt mostly comfortable doing things over the phone, and that's fine as long as they feel comfortable and they're getting the information. That's great. Other times it might be better to do something like this online where I can show you some things and share the screen. And again, sometimes just having that social interaction. I know, for example, when I talk with students on the phone versus when I can see them in person, in person, you can do a lot more, whether it's just kind of talking out loud and all of a sudden things come up that I hadn't even come in for, but I did want to talk about. So I do encourage students to use this technology if they have it available to them, and hopefully everybody will have it available to them, as we move forward.
Sweet. So I just want to clarify. I think that actually I know that all faculty and staff, as well as some student leaders who are club presidents, have their own WebEx accounts. But if your academic counselor or academic advisor invites you through WebEx, even if you don't have an account, you'll be able to log on there.
Absolutely.
So the next set of questions you kind of addressed earlier, but do we know if classes for the summer or fall are going to be online yet, or should I sort of wait and see? What's the approach that you would have advice for me?
Yeah, again, speaking of that common term we all hear now, the new normal, that new normal is really a wait and see approach that you'll want to take with everything. So right now, as of 2:30 this afternoon, they were talking right now, still it's in discussions. We should probably hear something though, obviously with summer coming up very soon and registration opening tomorrow, we should hear something about summer one by the end of this week or early next week. But at this point, it's really going to be to be determined. Like, plan for your classes to be live. And then again, another thing, and this is a great point you bring up here, is deciding what is this best for me to do this class online, or is this best for me to wait until things, and take things live. And again, there's so many unanswered questions about when things will be live again. Will this, again, we can go on and on forever about the unanswered questions at this point. But to take that to be determined stance and just stay on top of things, and again, speak with a counselor and get updates and get a feel. Sometimes, again, just talking things out, you end up figuring out the best solution.
So you mentioned that some classes might be better to take online versus not better to take online. You mentioned that some classes would be better to take in person that are live versus some classes that are online.
Sure.
How would I know that? Would I talk with an advisor? What would you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes you can just do some common sense. Like obviously that chemistry lab is going to be a lot tougher to do virtually. Not impossible. And again, that's one of the things is with a lot of the technology that I've been that's been shared with me from some of the professors. You know, there are certain things that we're going to do, but just logically thinking, classes that have are more writing intensive, that are going to be more where you're submitting a paper. Or having a more real reading to do on your own, or classes where you can just have simple discussions to get things done. Those are going to be the classes that are always going to play more online. But remember too, just because you're taking an online class doesn't mean you need to have all these video capabilities. Most online classes are just simply on Moodle. You don't have to have a specific scheduled time to be in front of a camera and watch a live lecture. A lot of times what you're doing is just simply on the Moodle online learning, and again, it can help sometimes for a lot of students, just with scheduling.
Awesome. So the next questions that I have relate to what's going on this spring semester. So what do I do if a faculty member is not being responsive to me?
Oh, yeah, you got that. Do not wait. By this point, again, March 31st, 2:30. If you have not heard from a professor at this point, um, mgreen1@bergen.edu. That's my email. If you're seeing this for some reason now, email me now because we want to get that figured out ASAP. These classes should be moving forward. Again, we're all at a learning curve here. That's not just students, that's professors as well. Again, I've met with probably 40 different professors at this point, and everybody has a different level of understanding. And the great thing is they're all working to learn it. Like, so, and students also, I think, need to take that upon themselves to also figure out things, on that. But yeah, if there's been no communication at this point, please get in touch with the counselor as soon as possible, because again, maybe there's things being ramped up. For example, I got in touch with a department, and there was an issue that one professor was having. So I was then able to communicate with 5 students I was working with that, hey, we're waiting on this. Don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. It's coming. And then we were able to kind of, put some students' minds at ease.
Sweet. So let's say instead of necessarily a professor hasn't responded since, say, spring break ended, but let's say a professor has responded, but I haven't heard back from them in a little bit of time. What's a realistic time frame, knowing that everyone's different, to expect to hear back from?
I would think you want to put that in a 24 to 48 hour time frame at this point. Again, everybody's going through things. We're trying to multitask at home with family and kids and just other responsibilities that are normally going on. So I think 48 hours is definitely a good number. But if it gets beyond that, even if it's just like, for example, I know I'm starting to fill up with appointments now too. So I'm sending emails out. Hey, got your email. Let's set up a time to talk. So even just that common courtesy of getting a quick email back. And again, you're not bothering anybody. So please feel free to always follow up with an email. Sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. So students should never feel uncomfortable communicating with their professors or any of the staff here at Bergen.
So the last question that I have about the spring is, I've seen and heard different things about maybe colleges around the nation changing to a pass-fail system instead of letter grades for spring 2020, given COVID-19. What's Bergen's stance on this as of right now?
Right. Again, if we fall right back into the nothing set in stone at this point, then, but because there's a lot of things to consider, and I won't get too deep into it, but sometimes having that grade is going to be really important to a lot of students, especially when that GPA requirement, you might need a 3.0, a 3.5, whatever the case might be. So having that grade, so that's something that's being in discussion right now with the powers that be here at Bergen, as far as what's going to be best. What I've seen, in other places, like I said, sometimes it might even be where the student themselves has the opportunity to make that choice. But again, this could also just be different from class to class, from professor to professor. So again, Ian, as you mentioned early on, like check that Bergen email, the updates that were Bergen Daily that are now Bergen Weekly, all of the super important information like that, information that affects every single student, no matter what the major is, that's going to be communicated, directly from the president's office in those weekly emails.
Sweet. So you even addressed the last question that I had, which is how should I stay on top of any new information that comes out? And what you said is check your Bergen email. I would reiterate that to students is many of our students are checking their personal emails, not their Bergen emails, or frankly, just not checking their emails at all. My last piece of advice would be to get in the habit of checking your Bergen email. Not only is that where you're going to receive important information here now, but in the long term, that's an important skill that all students are going to need to learn when they enter the workforce.
Absolutely true. Because that's the thing is students are emailing for example, emailing the AA center email, and they're saying, hey, I need some help. But they're not providing a contact number, and they might be emailing from a Bergen. So I'm going to look up a student, and all I have is an ID number. I'm going to your Bergen email to try to contact you the best way. So that's kind of like the main hub. But checking any Bergen social media or checking the main website bergen.edu, you'll be able to find a lot of the updates there. But again, just the best thing as if we're wrapping up here is just do not hesitate to reach out and ask. Do not think any question is silly or you're bothering somebody. I've had students literally say, I don't want to bother you because student emailed me twice or three times. I'm like, you're not bothering me. This is what we're here for. This is the jobs we signed up for. So please bother us with questions.